name's Emma Oz with the Oz family, and today we're talking to you about the 12 meats of Christmas. And so basically what our family decided to do this year was choose 12 different meats that we're going to be cooking differently each time. And my dad and Alex decided to choose chicken by the half for the first meat of this year's 12 meats of Christmas.
With each of these meats, it might look a little bit random, but each of these meats has been a family favorite here in the Oz household. If you look closely, you'll notice that the numbers aren't in numerical order. This was a forced ranking by Alexander.
And since we're not going to be able to cram in all of these meats just in this one video, make sure to keep along when we go down the list of which meat is next, ending especially with a beautiful Christmas brisket. Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, so we already split the chickens in half. Now what we're gonna do is just make sure we pat them dry, clean them off on the inside. Really, there's not much more to it than that. Trim up a little bit of excess fat or any skin that's hanging off. You don't want to trim up too much of the skin because as it cooks, it's gonna heat up. It'll suck up. You want it to stay formed to the chicken itself. I didn't show splitting the chickens in half, but all you really have to do is you get this whole chicken, you flip them breast side down, and you're gonna run your knife or shears right down one side of the backbone and then right down the other side of the backbone. Get that backbone out. Once that happens, you're almost gonna just like spatchcock them. Then you've got a little bit of the breastbone right here that you gotta go through. So you run your knife right down the center and get a little bit of pressure on that, and just you'll get right through that breastbone. You won't have to break it, you'll slice right through it if your knife is sharp. Always sharpen your knives, early and often. So once you get those done, kind of pat them dry a little bit. All right, check them on the inside, a little extra fat right there. We don't want mouthfuls of fat because a lot of it just won't render out. It'll be a big glob of, So we're gonna put some rub on these, some rub that I make. Everybody's got their own rub recipe. Mine's probably no different than yours. But we're gonna hit these with a little bit of rub, let them sit while we churn up the butter, make our homemade butter, because I need about a stick of butter, some apple juice, a little bit of brown sugar, and maybe a little bit of cayenne. We're gonna inject these bad boys. Then after that, I'm gonna put them right out on the smoker. See you guys in a bit. All right, got a couple of them rubbed up. Sprinkle a little bit of this stuff on the other chicken, the two halves. I like to get it under the wing, on both sides of the leg, a little bit on that breast. We'll flip this bad boy over. Don't go too crazy on the inside here. The majority of your meat can be had from the outside. We'll put this on. We're gonna let this sit for a little bit. Again, inside the wing. Other side of the leg. Flip it. And let those bad boys sit. And before we put them on the smoker, from handling them, and you can see a couple bald spots here anyway, we're gonna come back and touch these things up. Especially after we pop the injector into them. There'll be some spots where the rub has come off. We'll go back and we'll hit it again. But rubbed up, ready to go. All right, well, we got the chickens by the half cleaned. They got the rub on them. We're gonna fire up the smoker here in a second, but before we put them on, what we're gonna wanna do is inject them with a little bit of flavor. For that injection, we've got brown sugar, we've got apple juice, and we're gonna need a little bit of butter. We're out of butter, so we're gonna whip some butter up real quick. We just use some heavy whipping cream, get them in this Kilner churn, which I really like the Kilner churn, and once we're pressing it, we're gonna finish them off with these Country Trading Company little paddles. They're pretty cool, I like them a lot. We've got metal on metal gears, and I don't really like metal on metal without any lube, so pro tip, I put a little cooking spray on it, just some vegetable spray on these moving parts. That's gonna help it to move a little easier, and we won't have metal flakes on the top of our gears or on the top of our butter churn when we're done. So it's gonna turn nice and easy. Also, make sure your cream is at room temperature before you try to start churning it, or you'll be churning for an hour. And it might take about an hour for it to get to room temperature. So set it out for about an hour before you put it in the churn, or you can put it in the churn and at least let that set for an hour. Either way, we're gonna whip up some butter, lightly salt it, get about a stick melted. We're gonna put it in, mix it up with our apple juice, maybe a little cayenne pepper, some salt and pepper. We're gonna inject that right into these breasts and these thighs for these half chickens. And then we're gonna get them on the smoker and rock and roll. All right, so we got our butter solution, our brand new butter, brown sugar, little cayenne pepper, and a little bit of garlic. We're gonna inject these bad boys. I've already injected all of them. We're gonna put a little bit more in one of them here. Again, just to add a little bit of flavor. It's my first time injecting, not sure how this is gonna turn out. I've been holding off on injecting just because I've heard it's like crack. I don't really wanna get addicted to it, but I've heard once you start injecting, well, you just can't stop. These things are plumped up. Get a little bit in this bad boy right there. Get it into the meat. I don't want to push all the way through. But some of it is kind of just, it's coming out of the little puncture wound there. We'll see how it goes. All right, we're gonna get these bad boys on the smoker. One of the things that I do know is that when you lay these on, the way that the skin is set is the way it's gonna cook. So you wanna make sure you get this skin tucked underneath, wrap it under, because as it cooks, it'll draw up. So we'll see how this goes. Chicken by the half. All right, there they are. We got them on the smoker. Got it set for 275. We got a water pan, fill it up. The top runs about 10 degrees hotter in that lower rack. We've got probes in both. We'll see how this goes. We've got about an hour and a half to go here. Like I was saying, this skin will ride up, so we want to make sure we get that down. I'm going to come back out here with a rub. Hit these again. We want to try to get that skin tucked underneath so that it doesn't ride up. Chicken. Yeah, see right here too. Get that skin down below it. All right, we'll hit this again with a rub, and we'll let it ride until about 165. All right, so top rack, we're sitting at 168. Bottom rack, temperature differential is 18 degrees. We're sitting at 150. So what I'm gonna end up doing with these top ones, I'm gonna put a little glaze on them. That rub looks good. We're just about there. I'm gonna put a little barbecue sauce glaze on them. Nothing too heavy, nothing too sweet. To get a little glaze on it, that's all. Rub it in there. Tad bit moss. Go. A bit more right here. All right. Out of the smoker, glazed, injected, rubbed, smoked. Actually, thought it was going to be an hour and a half. Turned out to be about 2 hours to bring it up to temp. Smokers, temperatures may vary. We're going to go ahead and cut into this breast right now and see what this is like. Man, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you can see this, but it is oozing juice right now as I'm putting a little pressure on it. And slice a little, oh man, this is ridiculous. I can't believe it, and the smell is just crazy. Amy, you want to come over here and get some of this? Babe, you can come on to the camera, it's okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
I do want some though.
Yep. Okay. Man, I don't know. This is just so juicy looking. I'm gonna have to try this little piece right here. What? Oh my gosh. It's got a little smoke. It is so juicy. I can't believe it. I can taste the rub and just a little bit of the candy glaze that we put on the last 15 minutes. This is ridiculous. This is so good. I'll do this every time. I can't believe I never did chicken by the half, Texas style like this. We will, again. Thanks. Oh, you think that's funny? She thinks it's funny. She's gonna end up in the post-credit scenes. What do you think, son?
Good.
There we go. Second rack came off.
The potatoes are good. These potatoes are good.
I'm glad you like it, son. All right, so I just wanted to do this last little part. I know we're kind of washed out with the light, but we did 2 chickens, so we had 4 halves. 2 halves was about perfect for our family, but we're just wrapping this thing up, man. I put it on this parchment paper, and I'm getting ready to put it up in some foil, set it in the fridge, and it's still a little warm, but man, it's still just gushing with the juices. I don't know if you can see any of this. It's so juicy still. This is like probably 30, 40 minutes after we took it off the grill, or off the smoker. It is still just pushing out the juice. Excellent stuff, man. I'll tell you what, injecting it, first time I've done it, I love it. It's good. Smoking it, I had it set at 275. I will kick it up to at least 300 next time, maybe even 325. Skin doesn't have the bite through that I was looking for, but it's done all the way through. It's juicy, moist. Everything is delicious about this. The family liked it. Even the kids ate it and they liked it, which they didn't have to eat macaroni and cheese and hot dogs tonight. They actually ate what I cooked. Good stuff, and the wife loved it too. She might not make an appearance in the post-credit scenes. She asked me to keep her out of that. Anyhow, thanks a lot, America. Love you. Love chicken. Bye. Yeah.
Making nervous in there.
No, we'll edit this up. All right, so before we get going on our...
Hi, welcome to the Oz Family Kitchen.
You can't just do that. Restart. That's
Dry
not
run.
fair. That's not fair.